TMI. Confessionals of the Nerd Kind. And now, your hosts, Jeff Nerfherder Chandler and Jim Kaiju Baker.
How is it that we're halfway through February already? Yeah, that damn groundhog screwed us all. Yep. Can we blame him? Can we just blame him?
But welcome, everyone.
Yes, welcome.
Talking about groundhogs and nature.
Gone awry.
They just have it in for us this week.
Yeah, they are unrelenting. Everywhere we turn, crazy animals.
And they're getting big, too.
Monstrous, almost.
Monstrous, yeah.
Although, don't call them monsters in front of Frankenheimer.
Oh,
he doesn't like it when his mutated bear is referred to as a monster.
What does he call it? Yogi?
No, well, I have I rented a Blu-ray from the library. And,
they had the Blu-ray of Prophecy?
Not only did they have the Blu-ray, but there's probably about 7 or 8 featurettes on there interviewing everybody. So this is Shout Factory from 2019.
Amazing. You see, my library had Food of the Gods, but not Prophecy at all.
Well, I made the mistake of buying Food of the Gods, and I should have just doubled down and bought Prophecy. It's pretty robust on the back end. So again, it was a 2019 Blu-ray, and they have interviews with all the stars who are still around. Frankenheimer has passed away since 2002. But the special effects guys referred to Katadin. Was that what the bear's name?
Yeah, I think that was his.
Okay, they referred to him as Pizza Bear.
Pizza Bear.
That right there tells you.
I read a review, and the quote was, "It looks like a giant salami," which is, I think, pretty accurate.
So we'll get into it, but this movie, both of these movies, effed me up as a little kid. And by little kid, I'm probably talking 12, 13 on HBO, which is where I saw them at my grandfather's house.
I never saw Prophecy in its entirety on HBO.
Really?
I've only ever seen it as an adult, which is crazy to me because it's not like I avoided horror movies, and this was a PG horror movie, so it would have been on during the day, but I've never seen it as a child. Food of the Gods, however, did mess me up because that was... drum roll please, a 4:30 movie, so I watch that often.
Did they ever cut any of that stuff out? Probably not, right? It's only like 88 minutes.
You remember seeing these things on a tiny black and white TV, and I often did as well because it was the little TV in the guest room, or not the guest room, but the second bedroom.
Gotcha.
So
that was your private screening?
Yeah. Somebody else was probably watching soap operas at the time or whatever.
You don't want to watch As the World Turns?
And so I'm stuck in the bedroom watching on the tiny TV. So the bloodshed wasn't as red as it would have been for me. So I'm not sure, but it must have been heavily edited just for time. 4:30 movie was only 90 minutes with commercials. So, yeah.
Interesting. I wonder what I always wonder like what they cut out. And then we talk about it all the time. These longer run movies where they actually add stuff.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I have a feeling what they probably do is like, there's people talking, just cut it out. Just kids watching this anyway. They don't care about this.
As a kid, well, that's the whole point of like watching a Godzilla movie. You don't want to see these guys running from office building to office building talking about it. Just get to the monster fights.
Yeah.
So yeah, same thing here. I just want to see the giant mice, rats, giant chicken. How come they don't talk more about that giant chicken?
I had completely forgotten about the maggots in Food of the Gods. I had no memory of those.
They kept referring to them as worms. I'm like, those are not worms.
Yeah.
Those are clearly either maggots or larvae. That's where we're going this week. This is, I feel like these movies are what indoctrinated us into caring about the environment.
Yes, or being terrified of the environment.
Right. Well, we were told.
Yeah.
This is what's going on, and this is what happened. Food of the Gods was 76. And Prophecy was 79?
Yes.
Okay. So I think the Environmental Protection Agency was not created until 1970. But yeah, I remember the whole idea that, we're losing bald eagles because of DDT being put into the atmosphere.
Yeah.
Their eggs were too fragile. They weren't able to hatch properly.
Well, it's not like the filmmakers were completely altruistic here. They're cashing in on Jaws, which is the biggest nature gone awry.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, we talk about this all the time. I didn't write them down, but we've covered Grizzly and any of those other, Jaws on land type of movie. But when you get into prophecy, the guy who wrote it, Seltzer, actually based it on a real story out of Japan. And we now know that this stuff exists. There's mutated animals that came out of Fukushima and Chernobyl.
That story out of Japan also influenced Godzilla versus the Smog Monster.
There you go.
Yeah.
So again, this is what radicalized us to actually be tree hugging. I care about the environment. Let's clean up the roadside and stop dumping toxic waste.
Yeah, forget about these Al Gore documentaries. Just show them Food of the Gods and Day of the Animals.
Right. It's like, all right. Fine. So, all right. So those are our two movies that we've already leaned into. Do you want to do a little bit of news and then we'll get back to? So we're gonna start with Prophecy.
Prophecy, yes.
All right.
We will.
So that'll be our lead movie. But let's do some news. Listen, this podcast could just go away. I guess this stuff would just float around in the ether. Or if we go under, do they all get pulled?
Yeah, our voices are immortal.
Yeah, well, maybe they can just, at this point, they can just make AI versions of us. We wouldn't even have to show up anymore.
Yeah, they would know what we would say. And maybe I would be funnier.
I don't know if they can make you funnier. So to that point, I have a cousin who has a podcast, that 60s podcast, and it's all AI. He writes it and he has two hosts, but they're just AI voices. And at first I did not realize that. I'm listening to it and I'm like, well, it sounds, it's a natural conversation. It's, between the two of them, but they're not real people. And I think that's becoming more and more the norm. Well, podcasts. You can
I have a feeling that you're going to segue this.
I am going to segue this because I sent you a video this morning and this is making the rounds. And people in the industry are not happy with it. This is a 16-second clip of Brad Pitt fighting Tom Cruise. And it is completely AI. This is a prompt. The guy who created this used Dance 2 AI software. And he put in a 2-line prompt. I want to see Brad Pitt fighting Tom Cruise. And they're yelling at each other about Jeffrey Epstein. You refer to it as a high-end video game graphic, but I think to the untrained eye, you watch this and you wouldn't know the difference. There are
some shots that are, because I just watched it, literally just watched it.
On your phone?
On my phone before we started. Some shots are really amazing and others, it's not 100%. So it goes in and out, I think, but the shots where they're talking and their close-ups, I was like, did they pull that from an existing movie? Because they looked really good and the voices were on.
This is the scary part, is the fact that, you've got numerous hours of footage of the two of these on screen. So AI is literally pulling that anytime. So anybody who's out there right now who goes on social media and thinks it's cool to go on to ChatGPT and make a cartoon version of yourself, a little animated avatar, you just put in the prompts. Oh, I want to be holding a coffee mug and I got a microphone in my hand and boom, you get a little graphic. That's pulling from all different art styles, all artists around the world, illustrators who actually get paid to do this stuff. This computer is now just culling all of that together and creating this art.
And also at the same time, sending them a pink slip.
Yeah. So that's exactly what the concern is. So the Motion Picture Association immediately came out and called this infringement of copyright. In a single day, the Chinese AI service Dance 2.0 has engaged in unauthorized use of U.S. copyrighted works on a massive scale. So think about this a couple of years ago when all the actors went on strike, specifically because they're afraid of this.
I wonder when we're going to get the first Milli Vanilli of AI.
Oh, I'm sure it's already out there.
Blame it on the rain.
This is scary because how am I going to, I can't even watch the news and know for sure that what I'm watching is real anymore. It's only going to get better. I mean, we're still in the infancy stage. And the problem with this, and this is going to tie in directly with our movie, especially our first one, when it comes to environmental. These AI systems, these giant factories, these huge servers that they're building require unbelievable amounts of electricity. They're straining the grid. They're also depleting our water sources because the amount of water it takes to cool these things is insane. It's crazy. So do you blame the software or do you blame the guy who actually put the prompt in?
I blame the guy.
But he was just using the software. This is the argument that we're going to get into when it comes to prophecy. They go to the paper mill plant. And the guy's like, you're spewing crap all over the place. What are you doing here? And the guy's like, we're just meeting the demand that you gave us. You demand paper, I'm making paper. This is why the EPA was invented, to regulate this stuff. And unfortunately, RIP the EPA. So anyways, I don't even know how to come out of that. I'm sorry. I wanted to find happy news about animals, and I couldn't find any. Yeah. Other than the fact that Netflix is creating a live-action Scooby-Doo TV series.
Oh, really?
You know about this? Yeah, I didn't.
No.
I mean, I'm assuming Scooby is going to be CG, just like in...
They could use a real dog and just see who's talking, just make lips on it.
At this point, yeah, sure. He's probably all AI. Yeah, he's probably not even CG anymore. They're probably just going to use a real dog. I would like to see it be darker, like along the lines of like an X-Files.
With a talking dog?
Well, yeah, I mean, listen, I can suspend my disbelief in that.
The episode arc where Scooby gets cancer and bleeds from his nose.
He's got Shaggy gets abducted and there's a chip in his nose. Yeah. So there you go. That's all I'm going to say now. Let's get into this because I want to cleanse myself. We'll have something fun to talk about. Prophecy. So,
as you said, 1979. It was released in June of 1979. So, a summer movie. It had a budget of $9 million and it made 22 at the box office.
Really?
So this was
I got the
impression
a hit. That this was a bit of a clunker.
Well, it made money. So, and they never did a sequel, even though the ending begs for it.
Why is that? Yeah, you literally are setting it up. I mean, this is, it's wild because we just talked about Frankenheimer last episode, did we not?
I believe we did.
Well, he directed the Val Kilmer Island of Dr.
Yes,
Moreau.
he did, but he's not known for horror fantasy. I think this and that were maybe the only two.
Yeah, no, I mean, Manchurian Candidate, Black Sunday, French Connection 2, Ronin, which was actually a pretty solid Robert De Niro movie.
But no, he's got credentials. So him coming to this adds a lot of weight to the project.
A lot of weight is a good way to put it because you get into some of these behind the scene featurettes and boy, there was a lot of bad blood going on behind the scenes.
Involving Frankenheimer?
Involving Frankenheimer. I guess he was very demanding on set. They actually employed CIA. What am I talking about? They employed the CIA agents to come in to protect the set. This was all shot under security. The monster, which he actually would fine you if he heard you refer to this creature as a monster on set, you would actually have to pay a fine into like the swear jar. There was a lot of the special effects guys were not fond of this guy because the original creature design was laughable. And multiple people walked away from this project. Stan Winston, Rick Baker, all the big heavyweights back in the day were like, I want nothing to do with this. But we'll talk about that a little bit. As we mentioned, I saw this probably 12, 13 years old on HBO at my grandfather's house, sitting about 2 inches in front of the TV. You know, the old heavy console that was probably 120 pounds. Dark. I don't remember this thing looking like a mutated bear.
It doesn't really look like anything to me except one of those kids trying to run in an inflatable T-Rex Halloween costume.
That's a good call. That's a good call. Do you know who's inside that costume? There was 3 guys, I think, and they're all listed as mimes. But
yeah, because the credits roll, and my wife was like, "Did this have mimes in it? Did I fall asleep?" I'm like, "Yeah, they were." There was a great scene where the mimes are killed by the
right, the mimes. They did unspeakable things to him. A mime is a terrible thing to waste. Yeah, Kevin Peter Hall, better known as the Predator and Harry from Harry and the Hendersons.
When this bear runs, bear with, air quotes, it's like pulled, it's got little T-Rex arms that it's got pulled against its body, and it's running just like a man. It's whoever's in the costume at any given time makes no effort to learn the gait of an animal.
So that's funny you mentioned that, because one of the interviews was this guy Tom McLaughlin, who was one of the mimes, and he went out of his way to learn how to run like a bear. The problem is that when they were originally shown this creature, it was much more chicken-like. It actually had a large beak, because the old Indian guy says that this is like a, this is nature. This is he's part of all of us. It's supposed to have like chicken feet and wings with claws, and none of that materialized. And the writer,
according to him and the Native Americans, this thing is like King Caesar, just waiting to wake up and protect the natives, and that's not the case.
Yeah, that's going to protect us. So what's wild about this is that we got ourselves a monster movie, but within the first 5 minutes, you're already dealing with environmental pollution, Native American rights, and abortion. I mean, this is pretty heavy-handed.
And babies getting eaten by rats.
Oh, that poor lady. They say it's chicken pox, but we ain't got no chickens here. So this main character, what's his name, was Rob?
The actor's name is Robert Foxworth. No, Dr. Vern. Robert, his name was.
Rob, okay, Rob.
So you're right. But before that, this movie opens, it's a Paramount movie. So hence the involvement of Frankenheimer. It is a bona fide movie from a real studio. But this is the kind of movie, and I saw reviews that would mention this, that seems like something that American International Pictures would put out, which did put out Island of Dr. Moreau and Food of the Gods. It seems right up their alley and not really a big budget studio movie, but here it is from Paramount. It opens with a scene that looks like it's ripped straight out of E.T. a few years later.
That's right. Yes, the bloodhounds.
With the bloodhounds and the flashlights just running through the forest.
You're right. And all you see is the lights.
Yeah.
It's actually, there's a lot of moody stuff in here. I will say that, say what you will about Frankenheimer and his stories, but it is shot pretty well.
It is. It looks beautiful. I saw it on Amazon and it was cleaned up.
Yeah, I was going to say I had the Blu-ray, and the Blu-ray looked really nice. It's almost to the monster's detriment. He's better left in the shadows.
He is definitely better left in the shadows.
Way too much.
But these guys running with the dogs in this, they look like telephone repairmen. So I don't know if they're fox hunting or if they're actually monster hunting. I don't know what they think that they're looking for.
You never get that though. They're actually. You would assume, just based on the story, that they're chasing the monster.
But there's two bloodhounds. One of them gets mauled, jumps off of a cliff chasing the monster.
Yeah, this thing goes cliff diving. Like he just right off the edge.
And of course, they hear the dog whining down below in the gorge because it's night. They can't see. And then there's 3 telephone repairmen. 2 of them go down in the gorge after the dog goes. They scream in the darkness. So the one guy is like, I'm going to go next.
Let me go check out what's going on down there. No, dude, that's when you turn around and run.
And that one bloodhound that's left is Ruh-roh. He was the smartest one because he got airlifted out later in the movie.
Okay, can I just ask, you don't have room in the helicopter for a dog. You got to airlift him, embarrass him in front of all of his other dog friends. He's just hanging like Kong at the underneath. But that is a grisly scene, because then you pan to the next morning and there's all the mangled bodies and dogs laying in the pebbled stream. I'm like, boy, we're not hiding any of this.
But you got to do that, right? Because there's going to be a lot of exposition coming. So you got to whet the horror appetite of the viewer.
Yeah.
Don't worry, there's bloodshed here.
It's coming.
We'll get to it.
More coming.
Yeah. But yeah, so we're introduced to this doctor, played by Robert Foxworth, and his hair.
You look like
Mr. Brady?
Mr. Brady.
But Afro Mr. Brady.
Afro Mr. Brady. Yeah. And this guy is a government health inspector.
So he works for the EPA, right? I didn't really understand what his particular position was because...
Yeah, I guess he was going... It almost looks stereotypical. Like I was like, there's no way people live like this, but maybe back in the 70s?
That was completely a movie set. Like they just messed up the back lot of Paramount or Universal or whatever.
Pissed off if people made it look like that's how I lived. You know, I mean, I grew up in a rural north of New York, and people want to portray me as a hillbilly, and I'm like, well, I guess there were people out there. My uncle had an outhouse. He didn't have running water, but this is bad.
He shows up inner city, right? And then you're on this street where there's like cars on fire and everything else. You can't even get a car down the street.
No, and everyone's just hanging out like it's normal. Just going to work.
He goes into an apartment building, comes upon the family that called the complaint in, and there's a baby there with welts all over arms and legs, and the mother saying that there are rats that come and chew on the baby.
Ugh. One of the guys that was with said, well, rats got to eat too. I'm like, you cold-hearted ass.
And then you cut to the rat, damn straight.
You just wait. I got some giant cousins out in the island.
But then, he takes the baby out in a blanket. I'm like, where's the mother doesn't want to go in the ambulance with the baby?
And then all of a sudden she's in the ambulance. And it's like, you didn't you put this thing in a like a stretcher? No.
And then some Frank Oz lookalike.
I actually thought it was Frank Oz. Indian Burial Fairs there.
Like he navigates his car around the burning wreck and comes out and starts talking to him. You're sick of this? You're sick of this scene? And gestures around on the movie lot that's burning to the ground. Right. I've got a great job for you. Go out to the forest. There's people out there that are complaining that there's a paper company that's doing bad things to the environment. I just want you to go check it out.
Yeah, like Bureau of Indian Affairs.
All right, I will. But then you cut to his girlfriend, played by Yo Adrian, Talia Shire.
Talia Shire, yeah.
She plays a cello in an orchestra, which matters nor here nor there.
I don't know, but she does drag her cello out to the into the woods, and I'm like, oh, if I get a Stringfellow Hawk scene from Airwolf, the two of them on the dock.
I was waiting for that to come back into play. Like, she's got to be a cello player for a reason.
Beast. She's got to soothe the beast.
Or you got to take it and smash it over the top of his head.
Raccoon. Oh, neither of those played out.
No.
See, we could have written this.
But there's a very dubbed conversation between her and the violin player about her being pregnant.
So this is another tie-in that both of these movies have pregnant women.
Yes.
That may or may not be affected by the surrounding environment. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Don't drink the ooze.
So, of course, he brings his pregnant wife. He doesn't know she's pregnant. And I don't think they're married.
She's afraid to tell him because they have this conversation that he's seen all, we just saw that scene with the baby. And he's like, why am I going to bring a kid into this world? Well, maybe you should have pulled out.
The Pitney Mills Paper Company is the company under scrutiny here. So they're fighting with the Native Americans over the land in Maine. So I guess this all takes place in Maine.
Even though it's filmed in British Columbia.
Right.
So what's cool about that? We're going to talk about that a little bit because at one point you see when they reach the town that it's Brewster, Maine. So I Googled it. And it's a hamlet. Brewster is a hamlet of Bangor where Stephen King lives.
Oh, really? And he loves this movie.
And maybe that's why.
Maybe
that's his old house is now that writer's retreat that we had talked about.
Oh.
You can go there and visit outside. You can take pictures. That's gorgeous, the house. So I thought that was kind of neat. And I'm like, oh, look, that's a nice little horror tie-in.
Adrian and
Adrian, is that what we're just going to call her?
That's what we're going to call her. And Dr. Robert, they arrive, but not before they fly overhead and give us some nice shining, scenery of the forest. And
she in the behind the scenes, she said she's terrified of heights. So to get her in that plane was not an easy task.
Well, all the inner shots of the plane is just them on a set. So did she really have to fly in?
Yeah, there are a couple scenes where you see them looking out the window, especially later in the movie. But she makes a joke because again, this guy's just like got his head shoved so far up his buttocks. And she says, relax. We're out. Maybe, look out the window and maybe you can see the forest through the trees. And he didn't laugh, but I laughed.
But they show up, and the first thing they see is, one, the dog being airlifted in.
Right.
And they're not even making an attempt to put the dog down. They're just flying in circles.
Flying. Right. Watch this. He spins real fast so that the dog goes. Now let's go counterclockwise.
And then there's like a family getting out of their car that are getting ready for a camping trip at the same time.
Can I just say, the minute I saw this scene, I'm like, that's it. That's a family. I have shown every person I could possibly show that damn sleeping bag scene. That traumatized me to no end, but watching it here now, it is hysterical.
It is.
It's so insane
how they could have filmed that, not thinking that people would just laugh hysterically at it. I don't know. I do not know.
Apparently, the first time that they shot it, the sleeping bag went like high into the rafters because it's a set that they're filmed on. So they had to reshoot it because it went a little too far. But so there you go. You see the family, and it's just a dad and his two kids. We're going hiking. And
then they meet this guy, Isley, who is the representative of the paper company. And so this guy is played by Richard Dysart, who will be very well known to horror fans because he's in The Thing. He's the guy that gets his arms chopped off when he's trying to give the CPR. So, and his hair is just as wild in The Thing as it is in this movie. But he gives them the lowdown as they're getting out of the plane. He calls the Native Americans the original peoples, the Opis. We've made up our own racist term, so we don't have to use the existing.
Crazy.
And then they talk about the legend of Katadin. That's his name, right?
Katadin? That is the name of this creature, yeah.
And he describes it as it's like Bigfoot, but uglier.
Bigfoot?
It's what the natives say is out there. So this Katadin has been like a legend for generations.
See, this is where there's a disconnect, because if you're telling me that it's a mutation from the mercury
plant,
that's
then it never existed
plant,
before.
Right, correct.
Yeah.
That it's a newer, but yeah, the old man made it sound like this thing has been there for generations. It's a spirit animal that's there to protect them. And he referred to it larger than dragon eyes of a cat, neither of which, you can barely see its eyes.
But they're on their way in, I guess, to the plant itself from the drop-off point with the plane, and they get stopped by a group of Native Americans.
Well, he's driving them to their cabin.
Is that where they were going?
Cabin. Yeah, we're going to take you to this cabin that's about as far removed from humanity as possible. Like they actually had to go up a logging trail and then take a boat.
So, this guy is from the EPA, right? So they want him as far away from the plant as they could possibly put him.
Then why give him the tour?
I don't know. But the tour was very guarded as well. So if you were given the tour, you wouldn't think that there was anything wrong going on.
I don't know. I'd be questioning a bunch of stuff.
But on their way to the cabin, they get stopped because the Native Americans have put a chain across the road, and they're also forming, a human chain, so they can't go through.
And this is where we meet John Hawk.
Played by Armand Asante, an Italian-American actor, by the way.
Playing an Indian.
Yeah.
This is about as American as John Wayne playing Genghis Khan.
The guy with the chainsaw starts to fight Armand Asante, who has an axe. So I'm like, what is
an axe to a chainsaw fight? But this whole fight sequence is insane. And yeah, I get it. I'm sure that there wasn't a real blade attached to that chainsaw, but he had that right up against his neck. It was pretty intense. I will say the music in this works overtime.
It does. It's very similar to Grizzly, where it's like big. It's not horror movie music in most of it. No, it's like big, exciting adventure music.
Yeah, I was waiting for this to be like the Star Trek scene. Bam, 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 bam. So this right here is like, this is like Jets versus Sharks in the woods. It's like, yeah, man, you want to rumble?
But this is where they finally make it to their cabin. Does Adrian and the good doctor. the EPA doctor. And then the first thing you see him doing is fishing on the river. And as he's fishing, he sees like the biggest fish in the world flop out of the water right next to his boat.
Ate the duck. There's a lot of stuff that kind of comes and goes.
And meanwhile, you do get little hints of this creature in the woods where you just hear things like
the point of view or
growling.
Yep.
There's that one scene where they've got stock footage of every available animal running away from camera because they hear the monster coming.
Yeah, sure. I thought he was supposed to be a protector of the forest.
After the giant salmon, he hears a knock on his cabin door. He opens it, and there's Rocky Raccoon standing there and attacks the doctor. And suddenly this turns into Christmas Vacation, the end of
with the fake squirrel. It's just the fake raccoon. Talia Shire did talk about that. The fake raccoon. Yeah, he's going to town. It's like, why'd you let him in? Stop. He knocked nicely. Yeah. So the rabid raccoon goes and he uses the oar to pin it up against the wall and then throw it into the fire. I'm like, oh, that's got a smell.
So then you get a little establishing shot of that family that we saw earlier. The dad hears something in the woods. He's like, quiet, kids, quiet.
Avoiding the quiet of nature. This girl's blasting disco music. And their faces are filthy. I think you're doing hiking wrong. What were they doing?
This father is right up there with the father from the latest Jurassic World movie who just brings his kids to the most dangerous area in the world. Yeah.
Look, kids, T-Rex.
And this is also the point when the Native Americans, Arma DeSanti, comes to the doctor saying, there's something we want to show you.
We got to show you.
Yep.
Yeah. It has anything to do with the giant fish and the rabid raccoon?
And he's like, yes, it does.
Maybe.
Everything grows big here.
Maybe. Yes, he does see that. And that's where we meet Grandpa in his teepee village, which has a basement.
Yeah, they've dug out a basement under the teepees.
I wonder if Pee-wee's bike is underneath there.
But they show them a giant tadpole, again, reference to the smog monster here.
I was hoping
that's what
for
it looked like.
the three-eyed fish from Simpsons.
From The Simpsons, yeah. But these things weren't mutations. They were just big.
Right.
They were mutations technically because they got bigger, but they weren't like all messed up like the bear was.
But this is where we get this speech from Grandpa that this Katadin he's part of all things. He's everything in God's creation. He has awakened to protect us. No, he's rampaging. He's going to kill you. He's not protecting you in any way, shape, or form. It's not like you put a hard hat on and snuck into the paper mill and shut it down. That would have been interesting.
Now that he's got all this information, the doctor gets his tour of the paper mill.
And this is just as scary as anything else in this movie.
And he's like, oh, do you soak these things in chemicals? Well, no, only chlorine, and it's all done here. There's no runoff whatsoever.
Oh, well, now that you mention it, there is some mercury. Oh, okay. But this is great because this guy's pushing back and he, again, he's like, dude, what do you want me to tell you? We supply what you demand. I'm just making paper.
Yeah, what was the line? He says, do you wipe your nose with cactus? No, that's because of us.
Because we make tissue paper.
Yeah.
Yeah, this guy's like, I just want to know what kind of chemicals you use.
So Isley is telling him like everything's above board. They don't, any chemicals they use do not leave the factory. But as they're further investigating, he finds samples of mercury in the ground.
That just happened to be on her feet.
Yeah. And he's like, touch that. Rub it between your fingers, right?
Yeah, correct. Now lick it.
Taste it, yeah.
What does it taste like? Tastes like the inside of my thermometer.
So apparently this is what they're soaking the logs in before they, to soften them, before they make them into pulp. I don't
know. It's never really explained.
It's adhering to DNA and it's disrupting the chromosomes and it's making all the Native American children deformed, the babies that are born. And
we get that story. The girl tells us that these babies are being stillborn or they're defected. We see at one point Grandpa's got a cigarette that's burning between his fingers and he doesn't feel it.
They asked the daughter. I guess that was either his daughter or his granddaughter. Is that a mutation? Because no, it's just because he's old. He likes to smoke.
He's old. Yeah. And they get drunk off it. Right. They're like actually. Because isn't that the whole point where the phrase Mad Hatter came from was the fact that they would use mercury to make hats. And if you wore the hat long enough, it would actually seep into your skin and drive you insane. There you go. Learn something today, kids.
So as they're being told all this, it's dawning on Adrian that she ate the fish. That
She ate it once. She's not consuming it on a daily basis. She ate it once, but now all of a sudden she's like freaking out.
Yeah.
She's like, oh crap, I'm going to have a mutated baby.
And if this were to end like any other movie of this ilk, you would have a scene like...
She would have had a mutated baby.
You would have a scene like Humanoids from the Deep, and you never get that, unfortunately.
No.
Now we've come to it. This is the scene.
I can't believe this scared the crap out of me as a kid. But again, we used to go camping all the time. Now put me in the tent. I'm not laying out there. And this kid was sleeping in like a banana sleeping bag.
And
so
he had it completely, only his face was visible.
Yeah.
He was completely zipped into this bag. So if he had to get up, which he does, he has to hop like he's in a potato sack race.
And what's great about this is that you get like these long lingering shots, close-ups of the family members sleeping, and you see the shadow move in. And this is where we really see the creature for the first time.
Now you've gotten all the exposition of what is actually happening here. And this is the first kill after being told all this. So now you understand a little bit more what's out there. And you see the family, you see them all individually sleeping. The creature, point of view is coming up on them. And it just happens in a flash because they're sleeping. The kid's awake. He gets up and he's trying to hop away because you can't see what he sees. You see the paw come into view, smack him. It's like a flying banana for lack of a better. And it hits a rock and explodes into feathers. I'm like, is this kid a pillow? Is he even human?
Well, you could tell that there was somebody sitting above dropping additional feathers down because this was an implosion. This kid just it was pretty wild. Banana boy.
The whole family is mauled and killed. They're discovered, the bodies, the next day, and they immediately assume that it's the Native Americans.
Which doesn't make any sense because when they go to the site, there's claw marks all over the tree. And it's like, why would you think that humans did this?
Yeah.
But no, they immediately want to.
And they think specifically it's Armand Asante. So they're chasing him when they get to the Indian village. He runs away through his house and jumps through one of his own windows out the back. So breaks. And I could just hear the wife saying, that was the last unbroken window. Come on.
I just cleaned that.
Yeah.
But he goes to the attack site. How did he know where it was? Yeah. And if he was not guilty, why would he run away? I guess he just assumed he was not going to get a fair trial.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Can I see your nails? Yep. Look at that. He's got dirt under his nails.
So he and the doctor, he's on the run in the woods. He grabs the doctor and Adrian. They go to the site and he shows them all the bear marks on the trees. So they all know that he's innocent.
Wouldn't there still be like a police scene? Wouldn't there still be like tape or something?
There would be. Yeah. The only thing they did was remove the bodies.
You didn't even see a feather.
Yep.
They vacuum up the feathers too.
Yeah. So this is where we get into the end of the movie, the climax of the movie. They rent a helicopter, which looks like it's like the Caldor official helicopter with all the 70s earth tones that it's colored up in.
So it's Caldor colors.
They go into the deep woods, around to where the grandfather is. I'm like, you needed a helicopter to get there, but you just walked there earlier in the movie.
Meanwhile, John Hawk ran there.
Yeah.
No, we need a helicopter to get there. And again, how do they all know where it is? But yeah.
So the reason that they're going in is like they want to get conclusive proof. Whatever is being pumped out of that paper mill is deforming the life around the mill.
Oh, they got proof, all right.
They find, caught in a fishing net, 2 mutant bear babies, which you immediately assume are the babies of the main monster, which are
which
correct.
Makes me wonder, what bear in his right mind is going to mate with that thing? She's
another mutated bear, which could be the dad that you see at the very end.
The one you see at the end. Ah, very good. Yeah.
But one of the babies is dead already in the net, and the other one's just alive, just a miserable thing. And this, to the movie's credit, looks exactly like what's on the poster of.
Oh yeah, in the egg.
Yeah.
Yeah, the mutated looking thing. I barely remember these babies.
And now he needs to keep it alive to keep it as proof as to what's
even
really
dead,
going
I think
on.
it would proof.
I think
Look at this
so,
thing.
yeah.
Look at this dead thing. Disgusting.
This is obviously, it's a puppet. They're not using like a real animal here, but it's very upsetting, these scenes
Wait
with
a
the
minute.
baby.
Are you telling me that's not a real bear?
But
Little Yogi?
and it's very well
Little
done
boo-boo?
as well. It's like a little animatronic, kind
and
of
you
a
actually
puppet
feel,
thing.
yeah, you kind of feel for it. You're like, oh, this kid doesn't have a chance. And this
So,
is
but
where
it's-
she drops the bomb. She's like,
Yep.
yeah, by the way, look at this. You want to see that? I'm pregnant. I may be giving birth to one of those.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, you ate the fish once. A little hyperbolic.
Isley shows up with some men from the plant, and I think the sheriff. They see the baby, and suddenly they're like, "Oh, the jig is up. Isley has now got a conscience." But
yeah, he sees this thing and he's like, "Oh crap, maybe this guy's right."
yeah,
Right. So they're back at Grandpa's teepee.
yeah. So basically, the whole cast is now gathered in Grandpa's teepee with the baby bear.
And the one thing, listen, growing up in the woods, and I'm sure if you ever went hiking in your entire life, someone has told you, if you ever come across a bear or a cub, do not get between the baby and the mother.
Yeah,
that's like rule number one.
Yeah,
or run downhill because they're top heavy and will tumble over. But that's what they do. They take the baby. So now Mama's going to come and save her.
But as we said before, they had hollowed out some passageways under the tents like a basement. So it's very convenient.
Quick,
they all go
the
down.
Basement.
Yeah, they all.
Your TV has a basement.
They all go in the hole in the ground, and so they're all huddled down there. And you hear the mama bear just because they brought the baby down with them. So you hear the mama bear messing things up, ripping things apart, growling, and then it gets really quiet.
But this is a great attack sequence.
It is.
Because people are getting maimed. There's explosions going on.
Yep.
There's fire.
And the whole while, Grandpa's in his fur coat watching all this happen with a smile on
Can
his
I just
face.
tell you what a fantastic money shot that is? It's just the old man standing there and the reflection of the fires in his glasses as he's watching this all unfold. And I'm like, that's artistic right there.
With a fur coat on, no less. With a fur coat on.
Yeah, well, listen, it might have been cold out.
Yeah, it probably was.
Probably. You are in Maine.
But as all this mauling is going on, they're listening to it as they're huddled underneath. It gets quiet for a few seconds. So the sheriff
how long are you gonna hang?
slowly goes up the ladder that they just came down, and the bear apparently has been like maybe I should be quiet and wait right by this hole. As soon as the sheriff puts his head up, grabs him.
It's like, how long should we wait? Maybe a little bit longer. Yeah. That's a big jump scare right there.
So now that they're on the run again, Isley is like, I can run to the communication tower and get us help. It's right up the, I know where it is. I'm going to go. So he goes. He can't make his way through the locked fence at the communication tower. Once he does, he tries to climb under. The bear gets him. He dies off camera, but apparently this scene, he got his bottom half ripped apart with the entrails coming out, and then the bear would drag his legs away. This was cut because the studio wanted a PG rating.
Oh, I will also tell you that this was not the original intent. This whole scene was the guy who climbed up over the fence. I don't remember if it was Tom McLaughlin who was one of the mimes or if it was Tom Berman. Oh, well, it was McLaughlin. So he's the guy in the suit that day. And as they go to film it, he couldn't the mobility in that suit was so limited. And so he actually suggested in front of the crew to Frankenheimer, what if this guy tries to climb underneath the fence and the bear gets him that way? And everyone on set just went stark quiet. And Frankenheimer's going, come over here for a minute. Come over here. And he pulls him aside and he goes, no one makes suggestions or questions my direction. Now, that's a pretty good idea. And I think we're going to do it. But don't ever do that again. You come to me in private. And I'm like, wow, this Frankenheimer, man, he's a little too full of himself.
Yeah.
But yeah, apparently everyone on set knew exactly that this guy was going to get scolded.
But yeah, that's how it plays out. He gets stuck under the fence and the bear gets him.
It's too bad. I would have liked to have seen that. So they never filmed it or they cut
No,
it?
they did film it, but it got cut.
But you would think that on a Blu-ray, something like
Yeah,
there was no outtakes in this. And
maybe
again,
they're
this
just
is where I
lost to
talk about,
time.
this
Who
whole
knows?
scene, you see this creature like large right in your face. The high definition does not do it any good. And like I was saying before, a lot of the special effects guy, this guy, we're going to talk about him in the second movie as well. Tom Berman, he actually did the special effects on Man Who Fell to Earth and Food of the Gods.
Okay.
They gave him 3 months to turn the special effects around, to create this costume. Nobody was happy with this design, this mutated looking bear, especially David Seltzer, I think, was the guy who wrote the book.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, I made it like it's never specific in the book itself that this thing looked like a bear. He said, but I made mention at some point that it lived in a bear cave, and I guess they just kind of went with it. He threw Frankenheimer under the bus on this. He was not happy with the way this movie came out. A lot of people disappointed.
After Isley gets it, the one guy who you want to blame all this on is killed. But off camera, again, you just see the bear approaching him stuck. He screams, and then it cuts away. So I think it would have been cathartic to show him.
No, but I think you knew what happened.
But in the meantime, the rest of the crew who run from the teepees, they manage to find a vehicle from the paper mill, and they all get in it. And one of the survivors is the helicopter pilot who's injured. They tie him to the roof.
He's strapped to the...
So he is completely helpless,
This is
open
horrible.
to the elements and
This
to
is
everything
absolutely,
else.
whoever came up with this, it's brutal.
So, of course, the bear attacks. The Jeep goes off the road, and he's just stuck there, and he's killed.
He bites his head off. How did that get a PG? The truck is laying on its side. The guy is strapped, and you just see the bear come up on him. He screams. Then all of a sudden, the bear walks away, and the guy's got no head.
At this point, all we have left are Adrian, the doctor, Armand Asante, and his wife, girlfriend, right?
Grandpa?
So Grandpa wasn't with him in the cabin, though. Grandpa eventually, he stayed outside on his own the whole time until he got killed.
Grandpa's like outside just trying to reason with this thing. Like he's just watching it all unfold. He's getting flopped around like a doll.
Yeah. He was just like in the same boat as the kid in the banana sleeping
I think that
bag.
kid had a better death. Nice and quick.
But they end up in their cabin. They're boarding up the doors and the windows. Doesn't matter because the bear rips the roof off.
Bear destroys his house, but he pulls a Jason because they think he drowns. And then all of a sudden you start seeing the bubbles and then he comes flying out of the water.
Yep.
And you're like, oh, this is crazy.
Hits Armand Asante. He goes flying.
I was sad to see this character go because if anybody, he's the one who should have survived.
And I'm not sure if the girlfriend died or not. You see her get hit when the house starts to collapse. You see her get hit with one of the pillars.
Yeah, that's a good question. We had a nice wet T-shirt shot, though.
Yes, you did of her. Yeah.
So that is one thing that high def I was appreciative of.
Now it's only Adrian and the doctor, the EPA doctor, that are left standing. The bear grabs the doctor, and he has the arrow from Armand Asante's bow and arrow in his hand, and he just repeatedly
they're firing at this thing, and it's like, I'm not going down.
Stabbing it in the head repeatedly with the arrow is what does it. So
and then right in the eyeball.
Right in the eyeball.
The one good eyeball. This guy's getting scrushed. He's getting a bear hug, literally.
Yeah. But of course, there's not a scratch on him, even though the bear has him in his.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Armand gets whacked and he lands and he's like dismembered, his eyeballs hanging out and stuff. And I'm like, I'm gonna hit him that hard.
The bear goes down thanks to the arrow in the head and the eyes, and then cut to the plane flying away. They're leaving now. So you've got more overhead shots. You got more exciting adventure music going on. The whole subplot of her being pregnant and possibly carrying a deformed baby is not mentioned in the end. So you don't know what happens there.
Well, apparently they implied that she had a miscarriage, but I'm like, what do you mean implied? Like you just see her like in the bed. Is it in the back of the helicopter?
It's in the back of the plane where you see her.
Right. So how would I assume that she had a miscarriage?
Yeah, unless, again, that was another cut scene. But then you see from the ground the plane flying away, and suddenly, one last jump scare, another bear leaps into frame.
Sure. The one thing I will say, they are not getting their rental deposit back on that cabin. Yeah, you got the tadpole and the crazy raccoon, but you would think that there'd be more animals mutated, deers, something.
Yeah, just like in Food of the Gods. At least you got like 3 or 4 other animals.
And
in
at
that
least here, they're giving you they're trying to rationalize why these animals are what they are. When you get into Food of the Gods, whatever they're eating is never explained. They don't go out of their way to give you anything. So apparently, David Seltzer based this on this real life event, an environmental disaster in Japan, a city in Minamoto, where nuclear waste was being dumped into a nearby river, and it caused severe mutations and neurological degenerations. Among the locals, the effects of this consisted with loss of muscular control, vision, and hearing, followed eventually by insanity and paralysis. So again, back to the Mad Hatter, phrase.
Yeah.
You can't ingest this stuff, but whether it just turned this bear inside out. I mean, you would think that this would be multiple generations of this thing before it turned into that.
Now, I want to touch on the poster again because
yes,
even though I didn't see this as a kid, this poster was all over the place, and it is extremely memorable. This baby bear that is being carried through the last quarter of this movie in like the embryo, in like an egg-shaped embryo, and not looking like a bear, just looking like some very bizarre creature. Yeah. And it is very well realized, a very well realized illustration. It is representative in the fact that the baby looks like this, but this isn't the main creature that you're to be afraid of. But it had coming only a month after the release of Alien, which also had an egg-shaped poster.
Oh shit.
So I don't know if one was influenced by the other, if they were, because they were so close in release dates.
That thing just
there was a very eggy theme to cinema posters.
That was also
in
the same year that
1979.
Mork and Mindy came out.
Was really.
Yeah, it's a giant egg. Yeah, that's how he traveled.
Yeah. But it is a very striking poster.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
It oversells the movie.
It does.
Like the name of the movie, Prophecy, doesn't really tell you anything.
And the tagline of the poster says "The Monster Movie" underneath the title. So Frankenheimer must have lost his mind about that.
There's another tagline, which is ridiculous. It's so cumbersome. She lives. Don't move. Don't breathe. There's nowhere to run. She will find you. Prophecy, the monster movie. I'm like, that's a mouthful.
Yeah. You know who else had a mouthful? Vincent Canby of the New York Times.
Oh, okay.
He called the movie epically trivial and a feeble attempt to recycle the sort of formula movie one expects from American International Pictures.
Oh, you were saying, yeah, okay.
Yes. Variety said, a frightening monster movie that people could laugh at for generations to come. Los Angeles Times just said the monster was not particularly effective, and the film never approaches the chill factor of Alien. Well, I think that's, not many things could approach the chill factor of Alien.
You're now going to refer to,
because that's what these reviewers had only just seen weeks before for the first time.
No, well, this is no Alien. Of course it's not. I did see that Katadin was referred to as Smokey the Bear with an advanced acne condition. 1986, it won an award for the most unbearable bear movie ever made. And Katadin is he serves. If you ever watch South Park, there's a creature on there called Man Bear Pig. And that is based on the Katadin.
How many buckets of popcorn would we give to Prophecy?
I still enjoy. I'm going to say as a message movie for its time, I think it's pretty solid. It's a little ham-handed, and the creature is laughable, but I'm going to give it 3 3/4.
3 3/4, really?
Yeah.
It doesn't really do it for me, like the creature itself. It is funny. It's unintentionally funny, so I will give it that. Everybody should see that camping scene. Everybody.
And it is on YouTube. If you just type in Prophecy sleeping bag, it will come up. Because believe me, I have shared it with everyone and anyone I can talk to. Because the problem is there is another movie that came out, I think, in the 90s called The Prophecy.
Yeah, with Christopher Walken.
Yeah, this gets kind of buried. And if you saw it, you saw it, you know it. But otherwise, people are like, I don't know what you're talking about.
At a stretch, prophecy means, the legendary creature that was prophesized by the Native Americans here. And that's not, that aspect of the story is not really played up.
But it doesn't make any sense.
No. If this thing really did exist for generations, then that's impossible because it was just created. I would give it 3 buckets out of 5. Yeah, it never really transcends the kind of cheesy B movies. And I love cheesy B movies, but this one, it doesn't resonate with me, on a nostalgic level because I never saw it in its entirety when I was a kid.
Yeah.
So I'm just talking about it from, watching it as an adult. And there's better movies, I think, that cover this subject, one of which we will talk about in a few minutes here.
All right, fair enough. I will tell you this, though. In the bonus features, Tom Berman, this guy, the special effects guy, was talking about the fact when they went to the premiere, when the bear shows up, people start booing. And people in the back were going, get Rick Baker. And he found out later that they were actually Rick Baker's people, his studio.
Oh, really?
And Rick Baker's like, I'm sorry, it was my guys. It wasn't me. I'd never do that. And the only other fun fact I found was David Seltzer, who was on set. He wrote the book that it was based on, and he wrote the script. He was on set every day, and he wrote all the dialogue for the Native American language, and he made it up. It's not real. And he goes, I'm embarrassed as all hell now that I'm here trying to teach these guys ooga googa gigi. He's like making up words. And I'm like, wow, could not do that nowadays. But I don't know. There's something about this movie that just, it hit my sweet spot. I was happy to see it. Like I said, I bought Food of the Gods and I rented this from the library, and I'm like, I wish it was the other way around.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So are we going to the concession stand?
We have to go to the concession stand. Yes. I hope you're hungry. I hope you're as hungry as Katadin. So going off the ego messaging of that movie, I chose a snack food that bears the quintessential poster child for Save Our Planet marketing campaign, and that would be the polar bear.
The polar bear.
Yes. Any guesses? There's only one polar bear snack.
Isn't there a soda? Polar bear?
Oh, you're right. There is a... No, I'm going Klondike bar.
Klondike bar. What would you do for a Klondike bar?
There you go. The world famous earworm. So the Klondike bar was created by the Islay Dairy Company of Mansfield, Ohio in 1922. And what's cool is I still have family out there in Ohio. Its name was chosen to evoke the cold and reference the 1890s gold rush in the Yukon along the Klondike River. And the Klondike bar itself is nothing more than a knockoff of the more famous popular treat at the time, the Eskimo pie, which I believe is now considered a derogatory slur.
Oh, yes.
I don't think that we're actually supposed to refer to them as Eskimos. Inuits? So... but it was a regional treat. It was initially sold exclusively in Eastern Ohio through local restaurants and all of the 300 dairy stores that the Islay family owns. And basically, the ice cream products were created by slicing up their homemade ice cream and dipping it into pans of Swiss milk chocolate. So if anybody has never had a Klondike bar before in their life, it's less of a bar and more of a square. And at one point, it did have a stick in it, but it does not. It is just a 3x3 square of chocolate or ice cream with the chocolate coating on the outside of it. So initially, each and every bar was made by hand by women because the equipment to automate didn't exist yet. But years later, they actually moved the facilities to Pittsburgh, and they invented a machine called the Polarmatic, which automated the production and poured chocolate over each bar at a rate of 75 Klondike bars per minute. And marketing-wise, they were targeted at working-class adults. These were not aimed at kids. These were adults selling for 10 cents and came in a variety of flavors: cherry, grape, maple, vanilla, strawberry, and chocolate. And the rumor was if you found a pink center, which I assume would be the strawberry, you'd receive a free one. How does that work? Would you?
Yeah, how would you prove to anyone?
You would have to eat it in the store.
Or run from home with it in your hand?
The interesting thing is that I also read something that at one point they offered up like a Willy Wonka gold ticket, but I couldn't find any substantial information. Somebody at the end of one of these articles was like, "Oh yeah, my grandpa used to work there in the 20s, and I remember opening one and there was a ticket inside it." But I couldn't find anything to verify that one way or the other. So the Klondike name was trademarked in January of 1928, and the iconic silver, blue, and white colored scheme on its foil wrapper was first introduced in 1940s. But the foil wrappers themselves were a staple from the beginning because they used the same foil company that made the wrappers for the Eskimo pies. So this guy's like double dipping. He's like, screw it. Apparently, the people who made the Eskimo pies were unaware that this thing even existed because it was so regional. So they flew under the radar for quite some time. And initially, the bar itself, they would promote the family name, the Islay, and then Klondike was small. And then over the years, they kind of swapped it. But the polar bear was not added until 1956. And then, again, all their advertising was just done local. They did have a television commercial that included a polar bear and a miner. Not an underage child, but an actual guy with a helmet and a...
Like that would represent, like you're mining a
maybe
block
like a
off of
Cornelius, a Yukon Cornelius type of a character?
You're on Chocolate Mountain and you're mining a block of...
I guess. I don't know. I did not find a commercial. But in 1977, Islay was sold to the Greenwich, Connecticut-based Klondikebar Corporation for $7.3 million, which I think sounds like a lot of money for 1977.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, and the founder of that company immediately fell in love with the Klondikebar and decided, boom, we need to expand this market. So started throwing it up in Philadelphia, and one of the first things they did was create television ads and a contest that offered the top prize of a trip to the Klondike or a $2,000 bar of gold. Can you imagine how much that gold is worth right now? A $2,000 bar of gold? But if you're leaning into the whole idea of the gold rush, Klondike, polar bear, like, why would you not use gold foil as opposed to silver? I don't know. I just think marketing-wise, that would have really kind of brought it home. Klondikebar, boom, we're off and running. We're going to expand the market even further. And in 1978, they actually approached Kraft Foods into helping them expand this. But they decided they're going to start distributing this thing. And they sold it. First test market, Florida. Super huge success. This thing's like through the roof. So Kraft expanded into even more states. And in 1984, that's when the television ad campaign began with the now iconic slogan, "What would you do for a Klondike bar?" And I believe that they use that to this day. So in 79, Kraft said, you know what if we just purchase this thing outright from you? And Klondikebar's like, yeah, no, we're good. So Kraft did what any big conglomerate does. Well, we're just going to steal it. We'll just come up with our own. So they actually created a knockoff called Polar Bar. B''AR.
Does that still exist, or was that...
No, there's a whole
that sounds
story
familiar
behind this.
to me.
So that was 1979, and they went on sale under the seal test name in 1980. They even went to the extent as they stole the wrapper and packaging design. So, of course, there was a lawsuit for trademark infringement, and they went after Kraft really hard. The problem is that the Polar Bar brand suffered a blow which it never recovered. In 1986, I don't remember this, people started getting sick from listeria contamination originated in the Kraft's Richmond, Virginia plant. The bacterium Listeria monocytogenes spread in food and causes unpleasant and sometimes fatal symptoms, including fever, diarrhea, muscle aches, and even meningitis. At least 145 people were sickened. Kraft denied its culpability while at the same time shut down the Richmond factory for deep cleaning, and it pulled all the polar bars off store shelves. So in 1993, Unilever stepped in and bought the brand to be able to mass market this thing. And the first thing they did was cheapen the bar's ingredients, reduce its quality, and remove the Islay name from the packaging. So, yep, we'll take it over. We got you. Here's some money, and meanwhile, we're going to make this crap. You know, so Canada didn't even get to enjoy these until the 90s.
Really?
It's named after the Yukon, and yet Canada had nothing to do with it. They're also sold in the Greater Caribbean now. So Canada and the U.S. markets are the biggest consumers of this thing, but it's global. And according to a 2022 CNN report, which happened to be its 100th anniversary, around 380 million Klondike bars are produced each year. When's the last time you had a Klondike bar?
Well, I really don't like Klondike bars because they have no integrity. Like when you're eating it, it just falls apart in your hand. It is probably the one messiest treat that you could possibly eat, and you can't finish it.
Peel away the foil and
well, you can't put it bare in your hand because it just collapses.
The chocolate starts melts. Yeah.
You keep it in the foil, it starts to melt, and the only way you can eat the whole thing is to eat it out of, like a dog, out of the package. So I just don't want to be bothered. It is.
So what would you do for a Klondike bar?
Apparently, I wouldn't do anything.
You wouldn't do anything.
I seem to, maybe I'm
have a popsicle stick in it.
Maybe I've got rose-tinted glasses looking at this, but I have a feeling that now that you say that the ingredients suffered, that now it's maybe an inferior chocolate that crumbles way too early, which exposes the ice cream. I have a feeling that maybe it was more substantial back in the day.
Oh, it probably was.
Yeah,
it probably was. And this is a treat you cannot eat while walking through a zoo. You're not buying this from the little vendor.
Well, you could. It would just be on the half of it would be on the ground.
Yeah, it's going to melt in a heartbeat.
That's why when you do walk around amusement parks, especially the Disney parks, that we've done the Mickey on a stick, which is very similar to the Klondike bar, except it's on a stick and it's in a Mickey shape. Yeah. That will melt and fall on the ground. That's all you see on the ground are melted ice creams. Yeah.
Do you think they design them like that so that the kid will cry?
You have to go buy more.
Yeah. Go buy another one.
Yeah.
So initially it was just vanilla ice cream with a chocolate coating. Now you can get them in caramel, mint chocolate chip, Rocky Road, crunch, brownie fudge, almond, and they make shakes and ice cream cones with the Klondike name. But as I mentioned at the beginning, they only cost 10 cents back in 1922. The equivalent of today is $1.75. They're actually cheaper today than they were back then.
You can keep them. You can keep them.
You don't want them.
I want nothing to do with the Klondike bar.
So the polar bear is still there, even though it's, the branding's been updated over the years. But they now have a slogan that says "Making squares cool" since 1922. I'm going to guess that you're going to refute that.
Yeah. I will.
Not cool.
No, not cool.
So
well, it is literally cool, but then I don't want cool on my face and on my fingers.
I guess they decided to get rid of the stick at some point just to be different. I don't know.
I guess if you ate it with a knife and fork, it might make a difference. But who wants to do that?
What am I, Costanza now?
Yeah.
So that's my tie-in to polar bear. The poor poster child for environmental disasters.
All right, now I have to go to the restroom to wash my face of the Klondike bar.
Watch out for the rats.
And we are now talking the 1976 American International Pictures version of Food of the Gods.
Yeah, speaking of American International.
So how did you see this? Was this on Prime?
No, I bought the Blu-ray.
Oh, that's right. So you got the Blu-ray.
So it's put out by Kino Cult.
Kino Lorber.
Yeah, there's two audio commentaries on there and a bunch of teaser trailers, and that's about it. I did not get a chance to watch the commentary. I watched the movie straight up, and I will say it looks pretty solid.
It was very cleaned up on Prime because I rented it for $3.99, and I think it was absolutely worth it. This is again one that I've seen multiple times as a kid, and it's one of those movies. The '70s movies just can't leave you on a happy ending. We saw that with Prophecy.
No.
Every movie could have ended with a big question mark at the end of it.
Yeah, I actually thought this did. In my mind, that end sequence is about as iconic as the giant rats running around.
Yeah.
It's about as iconic as the damn sleeping bag scene in their previous movie.
You know, I've never read the source material by H.G. Wells. That's where his story went, was with giant humans.
If you watch the beginning of this, it says based on a portion.
The first part of the source material is it's what we see in the movie, where you're developing this new food, which is, I think, made in a lab rather than just coming out of the ground. The scientists that have developed it have hired this couple, the Skinners, on their farm to test it. And hence they've got giant chickens, they've got giant wasps, they've got giant rats. So some of the other hero characters have to come in and help them deal with that, which is what we see in the movie. But the second part of the story is them now feeding this to humans to test it out. And but now there's like
a Food of the Gods too?
We did, but it's not a direct sequel to this movie. It's just kind of goes over the same territory.
A sequel to this? Honey, I Blew Up the Kids? None of that, huh?
None of that, no.
No. Well, that's weird.
So once the people get big, it's like, well, now how do they fit into society? So there's now confrontations between the giants and the normal sized people.
Okay. H.G. Wells. Was he like smoking some good stuff, man? That guy was pumping that shit out.
So again, that we mentioned when we did The Island of Dr. Moreau, that was part of 3 H.G. Wells stories that American International Pictures translated to the screen. The only one that we haven't covered so far was Empire of the Ants, and we'll get there one of these days.
And you know that right away as soon as you see that name, Samuel Z. Arkoff.
Yes.
I'm like, oh, I'm in for an adventure. So this movie starts out really weird. The credits are running. You're introduced to this character, Morgan, who I thought at first was a college football player, but he's clearly like in his 30s.
So that's what I was thinking. I'm like, this can't be high school, first of all.
No, they mentioned later that it was a professional football team. But
because not
32
only
still puts you pretty old.
Morgan looks in his 30s, but the other guy that gets killed by the wasp that's also a player, he's like, that guy's like 50.
No, I know. Yeah, it's crazy. But they do this weird freeze frame stuff. And I'm like, that never comes back into play. You would think that was going to like a motif throughout the movie.
But that really sets you ill at ease, that freeze frame stuff. That in itself.
That's what I'm saying. It's pretty effective. And you think that there could be sequences in here that you could have employed that.
And all they're doing is showing freeze frames of him playing football.
Yeah.
And it's still creepy.
Yeah, it was weird. Yeah, and you get the voiceover. My dad always said nature's going to rebel for what man has done to it. And
that is weirdly specific for his dad to say.
So, Dad, how was your day? It's only a matter of time before Katadin comes back to exact his revenge.
So this character of the football player is played by Marjoe Gortner, one of the strangest names you will ever come across in a movie's credits. This guy has a story all of his own. He was a child preacher.
Preacher, not creature.
A preacher. Preacher with a P.
Like an evangelical?
Yes. His parents arranged for him to be ordained as a preacher at the age of 4 due to his extraordinary speaking ability.
He's speaking in tongues?
Making him the youngest known preacher to this day. So he was like a novelty. As a young man, he preached on the revival circuit and brought celebrity to the revival movement.
Interesting.
And in the early 70s, he left it all to become an actor. And he is, I don't know if you recognize him at all, but he's in a lot of genre movies in the 70s. The big ones that I can think of are Earthquake. I don't know if you've ever seen Earthquake with Charlton Heston?
Years. Yeah.
Bobby Joe and the Outlaw, where we get a little partial nudity from Linda Carter herself.
Oh my.
Yeah.
Wonder Woman, huh?
Star Crash, the Star Wars ripoff.
We got to cover that one day.
Yeah. And also the infamous Viva Knievel, which is the one movie that Evel Knievel starred in.
I do not know that.
Yeah,
I don't know anything about that.
Yeah, it
Viva
dropped
Knievel?
off. Viva Knievel. It dropped off the face. It was like all of Evel Knievel's Elvis movies rolled
Can
into
we just
one.
rebrand this podcast as like that 70s podcast and just cover all these cheesy 70 movies that people forget?
So that's who this guy was, Marjoe Gortner. So anybody that was familiar with genre movies would have been familiar with him. So he kind of lends a credence to this.
Not to me. So they're going on vacation on this island.
Yeah, to get away from, the rigors of football. Yeah.
The rigors of football. He is 32 after all. But they're hunting deer with dogs and none of them have guns. Like, are they going to wrestle it like a friggin' cattle?
And once they catch the deer, let the dogs kill it. Like,
what's the point?
But Marjoe, you know that he is, one with nature because he insists on letting the deer go. We won. What do we want to do now? We want to eat some venison. Nope, let him go.
The dogs eat it. Yeah, I think I'm good. Once the dogs start tearing into it, I'm not going to eat it.
But almost immediately, this movie starts running. I will give it that. Once they let the dog go, one of them doesn't want to hear about it, keeps chasing the deer on his horse. Gary goes into the forest. And you already know that Gary is a jerk. He's messing with nature.
Yeah.
He comes across loud buzzing in the middle of the forest. Translucent. Apparently what they did was they filmed real wasps and, just superimposed them over the footage. But you see right through them.
So they're just like silk. Yeah.
Yeah.
You would think that in a Blu-ray, they would at least go out of their way to try and clean this stuff up. But whatever. It's an artifact of its time.
Yeah.
This moron runs into the woods with his horse, encounters these bees and dies a horrible death. And when they find him, he looks like friggin' Violet Beauregard after she ate the schnozberry.
And of course, the wasps are all like they flee the scene of the crime immediately.
We got him. All right, let's go back to the nest, boys. Yep. So they take the guy back. What do they do with his body? Is he just laying?
He's in the back of the Jeep. They just cover him with a blanket, and he's in the back of the Jeep. I don't know if they even reported it or not.
No. Hey, you want to see what's in the back of my truck?
But before they do that,
that's right. He goes looking for. He goes looking for
help.
And immediately runs into this giant chicken.
Yeah.
That's hidden in the shed. She's watching him go into the shed, knowing that there's a giant chicken in there. He kills it. And then she's like, oh, I didn't hear you coming. It's like, no, you watched me do that. You could have said, don't go in there.
This is an old lady that's by herself in this cabin in the woods. So Marjoe goes there to look for help with the dead body that he has now on his hands, and she won't answer the door. So he hears something coming from her barn. He goes to investigate, and then he has a fight with a rooster, which is just
mad at him.
It's pretty much just the head of the rooster that he has a fight.
There was a couple feet. You could see the feet, but he stabs it with a pitchfork, and I'm like, man, you go to those Renaissance fairs and you get that turkey drumstick. That rooster would have really shown them all up.
But then you see like the real giant, the chickens again superimposed, with him in the background because there's other chickens in there too, but they don't attack him. They're just kind of hanging out.
No, they're like, Bob's got this. We're good. You do know why chickens don't wear underwear, right?
No.
Because peckers on their face.
She finally lets him in, as you said, after he kills the rooster. She is Mrs. Skinner. Mr. Skinner has gone to make a big money deal in the city.
I'm assuming with Purdue.
Perhaps with Purdue. Over the food that they have found oozing out of a tree trunk, a boulder.
Coming out of the ground.
Yeah.
And it's like, we couldn't get the animals to eat it until we put bird food into it.
Yeah.
It's they're smart enough to not eat this.
It looks like farina coming out of the ground. I wouldn't eat that either.
Yeah, well, yeah. And she has it labeled FOTG, Food of the Gods.
Very
On the nose.
on the nose there, yeah.
Grandma, do you have any more of that fuck food?
But yes, so after the rooster attack and he can't get any help from Mrs. Skinner, she suggests that, okay, this is what we mix with the chicken feed to feed it to our animals. We thought it was oil, but once we found out it wasn't, we fed it to the animals.
What kind of white oil oozes on you? What are you, Jed Clampett now?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did laugh at one point. You see later in their cabin, they literally have American Goth painting on the wall.
Yeah.
Yeah, these people are hillbillies, but she's weird. Like I think she's been eating some of this because she was not operating on all cylinders.
But yeah, this is when they, end up bringing the body back to the mainland, and they're like, well, what do we tell them? We don't tell them anything. They'll think that we're nuts.
But as they're leaving, Mr. Skinner is coming back because they have to take the ferry. This all takes place on an island.
Yep.
Which doesn't make sense later in the movie when they flood it. It's an island. They literally have to drive uphill to get to the cabin. So anyways, Mr. Skinner goes out of his way to ask the guy on the island, hey, anything weird happened today that you know about? Well, that one guy got killed. Oh, okay. All right. Like he knew something was going to go wrong.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. It's good to know.
It's only one. Okay. That's better than I thought it was going to be.
Correct. Only one? Oh, God.
Yep. Yeah. And he gets Mr. Skinner. Apparently, he's already made his money deal in the city, and he's coming back home. He, of course, gets a flat tire on the dirt road on the island.
That's what you get for driving a VW.
And he gets attacked by giant rats.
And I'm very appreciative of the juxtaposition of the giant rat head puppets cut to just rats attacking a toy car. I love it.
It is great, isn't it? But
it is fantastic,
and it's effective. It really is.
No, because they're quick cuts. So again, watching this as a kid, you're like, "What the? Yep. These are giant rats." So we mentioned Rick Baker earlier. He actually is uncredited as one of the puppeteers.
Oh, really?
Of the rat heads, and tie it again. This took place in 1976. When the Star Wars Holiday Special came out, they reused one of these rat heads.
I would assume in the cantina
scene. Yes. Yep, in the cantina scene with B. Arthur.
Oh, I'm glad that they were able to recycle one of them.
I know, because it looks like most of them were all shot up.
So Mr. Skinner, unfortunately, meets his end on the road, and
they tear him apart.
Mrs. Skinner's not having an easy time either because she's getting her arm eaten by maggots in her kitchen.
Let me just stick my arm right here and see what happens for about 5 minutes.
Yeah, and let me hold up my arm and watch them eating my arm. Just so the camera can see it.
Larvae maggots or whatever, knocking over her preserves.
So multiple creatures have gotten into this food, apparently. And so we cut to Marjo and his buddy again back playing football. They didn't bury their friend themselves. They brought the body to the authorities. Coroner says he must have been stung by over 250 wasps. So they want to go back and investigate. At least Marjo wants to go back and investigate, and he brings the other guy reluctantly back with him, and he's going to die.
Wait a minute. The thing is that wouldn't you have like 250 tiny little holes on you, not 7 giant holes? Did he have these puncture wounds?
And let me just point out that when he was getting attacked by the wasps, you only see one actual size giant wasp on his back that he's flailing around with, and the rest of them are all one. Yeah. So
again, the wasp effect is a little wonky.
But in the meantime, Bensington, who is the money guy that Mr. Jack Bensington, so he's the one that Skinner made the deal with, is coming back with his assistant,
who happens to be a bacteriologist. And I'm like, what does this guy do for a living then?
And he drives right by Mr. Skinner, who is disemboweled on the side of the road.
I was going to say they paid no attention to the because they all have to take the same road.
Yeah,
all of them take this road, and he even passes the poor girl trying to flag him down, a pregnant woman, because their Winnebago is stuck.
Because they got attacked by the rats the night before.
Well, they went off the road because they saw the rats. Jack,
But nope.
Jack, you're not going to turn around?
She was
still
pregnant.
Be there when she'll still be there when we come back.
She ain't going anywhere.
What a piece of crap. This guy, right off the bat, you're like, this is like the Bible salesman in Maximum Overdrive. Actually, you know what? I'm going to say it even worse. He's more like Nedry in Jurassic Park. Because he's hoarding up on this stuff once he realizes.
So they also meet Mrs. Skinner, and he's like, "Oh, where's your husband? He said he was going to meet me here." Oh no, he didn't come back.
How'd you beat him back? How'd you beat him back if you just made a deal with him on the mainland?
Mr. Skinner beat him back because they drove by Skinner's dead body.
Yeah,
remember?
I guess he was supposed to. All right, I'm gonna go back to my house now. You meet me there.
Where's Mr. Skinner? Oh, maybe he was that guy we passed that was disemboweled on the side of the road.
Yeah, and Mrs. Skinner is just, my husband's coming back. Yep, he'll be. Well, he's never been late before. He doesn't normally stay over. So, but they see the chicken, and he immediately assumes that it's some kind of an art project. It's like, what the fuck? I don't know. That's probably some plaster of Paris and paper mache.
So she shows them where the food is coming out of the ground, and it's slowly dawning on him that he can make a fortune on this because he didn't believe Mr. Skinner when he came in to tell him about this. We fed it to the chickens. Only the baby ones grew, not the adults. So this doesn't affect anything that's already grown.
And then they ate the other chickens.
Yeah.
Chickens are nasty animals anyways. Chickens by nature are cannibalistic pieces of crap. I love eating them. They taste yummy.
In the meantime, our football player arrives back on the island to hunt down the wasps, and they find the giant wasp nest in the...
Yeah, let's take out the wasps with a shotgun. I show up with a shotgun. No, they brought dynamite?
Or a Molotov cocktail or something. And so they very quietly shove this up the bottom of the wasp. You mean to tell me
he's shoving his whole face up in there. Those wasps, did you not see that stupid Macaulay Culkin movie?
The budget will not allow for any more wasps coming in or out of that nest. It's just a giant nest there with buzzing sounds. So they end up blowing it up and killing all of the wasps, thankfully.
Yeah, not even a giant can of Raid.
Mm-hmm.
Nope. Just blow it up. Just catch it on fire. All right. And it, like there's thunderstorms every 20 minutes on this island.
And we get the pregnant woman and her husband.
And they're arguing over because she doesn't want to get married and the baby's going to have my last name. Doesn't
but again,
mean I don't love you.
But it makes no difference whatsoever because they're attacked by rats. And again, you've got like the little tiny Winnebago with the real rats crawling on them.
For the most part, I'm not going to say it's seamless because obviously you can tell they're not, like there's some close up of the rats and they're fake plastic trees that they're climbing through. But the Winnebago, someone had to make that little Winnebago for them to, and it's pretty spot on.
And they're, trying to get into the Winnebago, so it looks pretty good. And
he walks outside, and there's one on the roof, and he's like, "Honey, come here." It's like, shouldn't you keep her inside? No, come out here. Come look at this thing.
So then they leave, and the question is raised: if she is about to give birth, why are they on this remote island to begin with? Yeah. It doesn't matter that there's monsters there. Yeah,
it doesn't seem like there's anything else except this little cabin, this little house that these people live in.
So they end up, leaving the Winnebago and running for their lives, and they all make it to the cabin. So all the characters now are holed up. Our football player is asking Mrs. Skinner the lay of the land here, and he gets the idea that, okay, rats can swim normally, but these are big rats. Gravity is going to pull them under. Let's drown them.
Okay.
There's a fence that, runs along the whole perimeter of the islands, and it leads right into the water. So let's electrify this fence and herd them through. So they have nowhere to go but into the water.
It seems very convoluted.
Yeah.
We have a generator. That'll only work until the fuel runs out. But he electrifies the rats, zaps them.
So it works on some of them, but not all of them. And then we're told that what the rats are ruled by the one white rat who is the king of the rats.
One rat to rule them all.
One rat to rule them all. So as they're fighting for their lives in the cabin, they realize that the rats weren't all drowned in their scheme, but there is a dam at some point
Yeah,
on this.
that's just random. Like it's never like they don't plant this in any way, shape, or form earlier on. Like he just knows that there's a dam somewhere.
And it's a tiny little wall. They're like, how is this holding in the ocean?
Said, it's an island.
Yeah.
It's an island, and clearly they have to drive uphill in order to get back to the cabin. I'm like, there's no way they're below sea level.
Apparently, when they're doing this, they can come and go as they please, but at other points, the rats are like keeping them inside the cabin.
That's the other thing, too. So we talk about the 2 car attacks, the Winnebago and the little Volkswagen, which, again, they're just little tiny cars. But when they get to the house, it's just a cardboard box painted to look like the cabin.
Yeah, it looks
because it
looks like paper.
Really, yeah, it's just all flat. But you see the rats and they're chewing the windowsills and stuff. And for the most part, it's just like, all right, I'm just going with this.
Yeah,
but there is a scene that I just wanted to go back to when they realize that they're all holed up in this cabin, and poor Mrs. Skinner realizes that her husband may not be coming home. And she's like, oh, that's it. We sinned against nature. And Jack just goes, the only sin is your stupidity. And I'm like, yeah, she's kind of stupid. Because once again, no one goes back to the giant chicken. It's like, just let the chickens loose and they'll take out the rats.
Or they'll kill each other. Once they're stuck in the cabin, Bensington, who is the money guy, wants to vamoose with all the stuff because he wants to sell it.
He's already bottled it up.
Even though that they have the car there, they're like, there's no way that we can get out because the rats are just going to stop us from driving. We saw what
they did the other 2 cars.
Yeah. So Bensington's like, oh, I'm taking my chances. So he tries to bottle up all the food that he can. And of course, in his avarice, in his selfishness, he is killed. Of course, Marjo tries to stop him. Marjo is breaking all the glasses and the water's rushing and they're on their way back to the cabin to make the final stand. There's one sequence where they're actually shooting the rats from inside the cabin. Yes. And it looks, for the life of me, it looks like they're actually shooting rats.
You actually mentioned this last episode that these animals were being tortured and shot.
They weren't actually killing the rats.
Some of them looked like they were pretty dead floating in the water.
Some of them looked like they were dead. But apparently what they were doing was shooting the real rats with fake blood pellets.
That still would hurt.
It still hurts. And they're
flying. These things are flying when they're getting hit.
Yeah.
There's still some damage being done to these rats, even though you're not actually snuffing. It's not a snuff film, but you are, it's some animal cruelty.
So, but again, for the purpose of the story of the movie, it does look like they're being shot by shotguns.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
This is another, fact where high definition is not your friend.
Yeah.
Where some of this stuff doesn't hold up as much as it did when you're watching it on an old cathode ray, low definition television shot on 35 millimeter.
And of course, the pregnant woman is, threatening to go into labor the whole time.
Yeah, she was worthless.
The flood water makes it to the cabin. And this is one of the most memorable scenes for me from when watching it as a kid. The visual of them like on that, that widow's walk at the top of the house.
This is a fantastic composite shot.
Yeah.
This is, we talk about the money shot in the first movie. You're right, though. This is fantastic. I mean, you can see it shimmer a little bit. It's not completely lined up, but yeah, the whole house is flooded. There's rats swimming all around and they're up on that little balcony on the roof.
And the water's like right at their level. Yeah. And you see the rats slowly start drowning,
It is very effective. I think some of those rats were being pulled down by their tails, by the way.
Probably. The white one attacks one last time from the roof when they're all standing out there, and they blow that one away as well.
Yeah, because they think that that's it. They're all done. And then all of a sudden the king comes up on the hill. He's like, I'm still here. I did find it funny that girl who was with Jack, she thinks they're going to die. So she immediately says, hey, I'll sleep with you. I'm like, well, I think this chick's turned on by giant rats. And it's probably a good thing they didn't do it, because I doubt that those walls were soundproof. I do hope that they named the baby either Mickey or Chucky.
But yeah, at the end, the water recedes, right? So they're dragging all the rats to make a big bonfire, I guess.
Yeah, you
in a
gotta
big
burn 'em,
pile
I
of dead
guess.
bodies.
I guess you got to burn them.
But that's evidence. So, how else are they going to explain who died here?
Well, you still got that chicken.
Yeah, this is true.
I don't know.
And then, of course, he throws some of the empty jars that he can still find of the food onto the fire as well. As we remember so well, we see some of those empty jars that still have food, residue
and again,
in them.
this is the haunting scene. More so than the giant rats eating people is just the jars. As you're listening to Morgan's voiceover, yep, Dad was right.
He was right. I went
Nature-
back to playing football.
Nature rebelled. Did we stop it? And you see those jars floating. Hopefully we got it all. That stuff's still oozing out of the ground, by the way.
Yeah.
You didn't stop that.
Yeah.
But you see the jars, they're floating in the waterways. Oh, they're floating by cows. Cows are drinking the water. And then you see the cows getting milked. And then you see the kids in the school drinking the milk. And that's where you're just, like you said, it literally, that's where your freeze frame should come back in.
Well, it did freeze frame. The credits freeze framed over the one kid sipping from the milk.
Drinking the milk.
And they chose the weirdest looking kid.
It was probably nepotism. It was probably some producer's son or nephew.
But that kid is so creepy looking that, that in itself is creepy. Yeah.
I think he's already been drinking that milk for a while now.
So, and again, we were told before that it only works on the young, not the ones that are already grown.
I think their mistake was actually breaking the windows in order to shoot these things. Just stay inside. It would take them a while to chew through it. It did have this whole end sequence. It had very Kingdom of the Spider vibes to it.
You're right.
Everyone's like trapped in the house kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to see more giant chickens. I know it was probably a budgetary constraint. But that chicken attack is right up there with the sleeping bag attack.
But imagine like these rats that are on the fake porch, right? And one's talking to the other. Yeah, I was number one on the call sheet today. Oh, that's great for you. All of a sudden, bam!
Ow!
What are they? What, are they effing shooting at us? What the F is going on?
I didn't sign up for this. Where's PETA? I'm sorry, PETA hasn't been invented yet.
Yeah, as we said, there is no message at the end that no animals were harmed during the...
that is nowhere to be seen. Nope. Yeah.
But yeah, this freaked me out as a kid, and it freaked me out a little bit watching it here. You said it before. They all have to drive. You see the same scenery over and over and over again because they're all driving on the same road in and out of the thing. Yeah. So it just lends to that feeling of isolation. There's only one road in and one road out. And seeing a lot of these scenes just brought me right back because I remember that road from watching this as a kid.
Oh, I thought you were going to tell me you went on vacation there.
No, didn't go on vacation there. But you could, again, filmed in... filmed in Canada here. Yeah.
Bowen Island, British Columbia.
So I really appreciated this on viewing it as an adult. It holds up. Maybe not so much the wasps, but there's a charm to that as well. I'm going to go... If you gave the first one 3 3/4, I'm going to give this one 3 3/4 buckets out of 5 for Food of the Gods.
Yeah, we're swapping this time because I'm going 3.
Okay.
Just to not... don't get me wrong. It's there. It's a memory that I had as a kid watching this stupid thing. And again, that end sequence is what haunts you. It's just like, watching the blob start to unfreeze at the end of that movie. Yeah. It's like, what? The idea that, these kids are going to mutate, but it's never explained. You don't know what this is that's in the ground.
Yeah, you don't know if it's from space or what. If it's natural.
No, it's just something oozing from the ground. There's no biological or eco hazard. You never told anything. There's no mill plant upstream that's leaking this stuff, and it's just stuff. It was still fun watching it though.
It was.
Giant rats, and I laughed a couple times. Again, it's not meant to be funny, but now knowing what we can do with CG and whatnot, blowing up rats.
Roger Ebert of the Chicago Sun-Times gave the movie 1 star out of 4.
Oh, Roger.
Vincent Canby, who we already heard from about Prophecy a few minutes ago, called this movie a stunningly ridiculous mixture of science fiction and horror film cliches.
So he liked it.
Siskel of Siskel and Ebert gave the movie half of 1 star out of 4.
Just when you thought that Ebert was a curmudgeon.
The heavy television ad campaign promises 6-foot roosters and panther-sized rats. What it should promise is rotten special effects and a laughable script.
Yeah, you got that. Spot on.
It was nominated for the Best Horror Film by the Academy of Science Fiction, Fantasy, and Horror Films in 1976.
In 1976, it must have been a really lean year for science fiction movies.
It looks like it made $1 million at the box office, which must have been enough for American International to put into production The Island of Dr. Moreau. So,
And when was the sequel made?
The sequel wasn't until 1989.
Oh, geez.
And that wasn't American International. By that, they didn't exist. It was Carol Co. Pictures that made that.
Carol Co.
So it is a sequel in name only and bears no relation to the 1976 film.
Oh. I'm glad we didn't decide to talk about that.
Yeah. So, all right. So let's return from the woods, the forest, the island. And what else did we do this week?
I'll let you go first.
I did a couple of things I have on the docket. I watched Wonder Man, the entire season 1.
Let's talk about it because I banged through all 8 episodes as well.
A great, unexpected Marvel show. If I've talked about The Studio before, which is the Seth Rogen comedy,
yes, correct.
Behind the scenes comedy on Apple, and that's really kind of what Wonder Man is. It just
which is wild. Because the problem with this is, I think it's been in the can for like a year and a half. And then all of a sudden they just dropped all 8 episodes, which to me is normally a sign that, they just want to get rid of this. They did the same thing with Echo. And you're like, okay, well, my expectations just went down exponentially. And this is a treat.
Yeah, it is.
This is, although I will say, if you're hoping for a traditional superhero movie, it is not in any way, shape, or form. It is closer, very inside baseball when it comes to the movie making industry. It's in Wonder Man name only, in the sense that our main character, Simon Williams, is trying to land a role as the superhero.
And in the Marvel Universe, apparently Wonder Man is a fictional superhero that Simon loves from going to watch the movie with his dad. And so there's some great, fake footage of the 80s Wonder Man movie that they both hold so dear, Simon and his father.
I was waiting to find out that it was David Hasselhoff that was playing this character.
But it reminded me of the opening scene of Jingle All the Way, of Turbo Man.
Yes. Yeah, watching the cheesy Power Rangers type movie.
Because Wonder Man always was, even the name is kind of lame. Right. So he was very much a second or third tier Marvel character.
He had a pretty solid run in the late 80s, 90s in the Avengers. He played like this is very buddy comedy with him and Sir Ben Kingsley. They're replaying Slattery. What's the Trevor Slattery, the guy who we were introduced to as the
fake Mandarin.
The fake Mandarin. We find out that he was an actor. And this is fantastic. They play off each other wonderfully. But in the comics, he was like best friends with the Beast. And yeah, he has like ionic powers. His brother, Eric, does turn into the Grim Reaper. I don't think they're going down that road with this, but they did introduce his brother. We met this guy, and immediately you see that he questions everything, and he's his own worst enemy. He's on the set of American Horror Story. So what's wild about this is that they're throwing real actors, real names, real TV shows in here, pretending that he's part of the system. At one point, we get a flashback episode with Josh Gad playing Josh Gad, which was you still don't know whatever happened to him.
Yeah.
But it's fascinating. It's not what I expected at all, and
we have Joey Pants.
Joey
himself.
Pantaleone, who actually comes in at the end. I found it fantastic. I thought
But
this was so
the
well done.
the interplay between these two characters is
Yes.
just is great, and
Yeah.
I couldn't recommend it more.
Yeah. The one thing I like about this, so it falls under that Marvel Spotlight banner, which is, we talked about this numerous times. At this point, Marvel movies have been around for quite some time, almost 20 years. And you've got 30 plus movies and 8, 9, 10 TV shows. Marvel Spotlight is like, hey, don't worry about it. You don't need to know anything about the overall universe. This is pretty much a standalone story. They do go out of their way to explain to you who Trevor Slattery is and what his past is. And I don't think you need to see Iron Man, any of those movies, in order to explain who and what he is and understand that. So I appreciate that they're trying these more standalone TV shows.
And he's one of my favorite characters in the MCU period.
I agree. And this bromance that they have between the two of them, by the end of it, really kind of plays out. And you're like, all right, they've got each other's backs, kind of a thing. Mm-hmm. I did appreciate this. I thought this was fantastic.
Yeah, and I just do hope that they continue with it, and if this Doomsday is going to be like all hands on deck, I hope that he shows up.
Yeah, because there is a time jump, and you do see that he has somehow mastered his powers.
So Wonder Man becomes Wonder Man.
Yeah.
Which is, very meta going on.
It is incredibly meta. So, no, that was great.
And apparently, like on the Fantastic Four red carpet, he showed up as Wonder Man.
That they were actually in character.
Yeah.
That's really bizarre. That's a little too meta for me.
Playing Simon, Yeah. The actor.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I don't know who that is.
Yeah.
My name is Simon.
Yahya Abdul-Mateen II. He is just a delight on this.
No, he's fantastic.
And you may remember him. He was in the Candyman remake as the new Candyman.
No, I don't remember that.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
I don't think I saw that. That's because I don't think I saw the new Candyman.
Well, we covered the new Candyman. I hope you saw it.
We covered the old one with Tony.
We covered the new one and the old one.
Was I on that episode?
I believe you were.
Oh, was I? I do want to just mention Disney Plus also dropped the new episode. They brought back the Muppet Show, and I cannot be happier.
It's only one episode so far.
It is.
Though, right?
I think it's just Seth Rogen has really kind of championed this, and I think it's just kind of like out there to test to see, is it worth bringing this back?
Why they haven't just gone back to this formula years ago, I don't know.
The one show that they did where it was almost like an Office ripoff. It was a little too.
People don't want to see that.
No, although to be honest with you, I don't know. I mean, I liked Sabrina Carpenter. I couldn't tell you anything that she's done or saying, but she was fun. And yeah, you want to introduce me to?
Is she like? I haven't watched it yet. Is she singing songs like they did on the old?
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, it's definitely like the old school. I mean, literally same opening. I have heard complaints. People are like, "Oh, can't they find someone who sounds more like Kermit?" I'm like, get over it. It's not like you can have someone who does the voice but doesn't know how to be a puppet. Like it's part and parcel. It's like, oh, Bugs Bunny doesn't sound like he used to. Well, no shit. Mel Blanc. So I appreciated it for what it was.
So talking of Disney Plus, I just watched last night Predator Badlands because it showed up.
I might watch this today. I did see that it dropped.
Well, there was
Is
a
it
lot
on Plus
more.
Or Hulu?
It's on Hulu, but if you have the package, you can watch it on Plus. There's a lot more involvement in the plot than I thought there would be with the Weyland-Yutani and Alien tie-in.
Okay.
And now, without giving anything away, I'm just going to say that I do not approve of these two franchises cross-pollinating like this.
Well, we've already gotten the Alien Predator movies.
We did, but I don't count them as canon. And what all these movies do is just mess with the Alien canon that I so love to begin with. So to me, Predator, as great as they are, these movies, especially that first one, I love that first one. These are elevated B movies, and I think that's their strength, right? Alien is like on a plane of its own. Predator can only aspire to what Alien is. For Alien and Predator to meet, Alien is coming down on that level, if you understand what I'm trying to say here.
You don't think the Predator can step up? You don't the Predator can step up? Hey, this guy
just as franchises, I think it lessens the Alien franchise to know that this Predator is out there, because the Alien franchise is just so dark and so serious. And part of the charm is that, that maybe that this is other life out there has been engineered. Scott brought this aspect into it, but now throwing these the hunter things that just come out of nowhere, that it just doesn't make sense.
There's got to be goofy aliens in the universe.
It just doesn't make sense in the alien world. It's like this is akin to if you tell me that the Beastmaster is suddenly in Lord of the Rings, or
now I want to see that.
Or Conan the Barbarian shows up in Lord, which would be actually pretty cool. That's a bad example. Or if Dungeons and Dragons character shows up in Lord of the Rings. They shouldn't mix. They're both they're both sandals, sword and sorcery.
They've been teasing this going all the way back to Blade Runner.
Now that I would accept. If you tell me that Blade Runner, the replicants in Blade Runner were Wayland Yutani, I would completely be on board with that, because not only is it all Ridley Scott,
same tone. Yeah, I agree.
Same tone. Yeah. Predator and Alien are two wildly divergent tones. Keep them separate. That's all I'm saying.
I get it. How do you feel about this rumor now? Because Dan Trachtenberg has come out numerous times and talked about bringing back Dutch, Arnold Schwarzenegger, speaking of which.
I would love that, but I just wouldn't want it as an Alien movie. I would love that. I would love to see him as Dutch again.
What if he was the Queen?
No. No. But I will tell you this. I
might have to watch it. I think I'm going to watch that today.
If you do watch it,
get
your pause button ready, because there's more Easter eggs when you're inside that Predator ship and you see some trophies.
No. Really?
Yeah.
Don't tell me there's an Ewok head.
I'm not going to say anything.
Darth Vader's helmet?
I'm not going to say anything.
Wait a minute. Who owns this franchise now?
Fox is owned by Disney, so it's open season.
There's a Star Wars reference in there.
Well, I'm not going to confirm one way or the other, but there is something in there that's tied to Fox that is unexpected to see.
Interesting. Is it just meant to be a throwaway? All right, I'm going to watch it now. I got to watch it.
Well, I don't know, because it seems like they want to start their own Alien Predator canon going on. I don't know if it's supposed to.
Aren't we getting a sequel to Prey?
That's what I thought. Yeah. Apparently, there's an Easter egg.
Predator.
Even though I didn't see it, there's an Easter egg somewhere in here to Prey that I didn't see.
Oh, maybe like her.
You'll have to look for it and tell me. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Now I gotta do my homework and actually look. But because the animated Predator series was him jumping through time. Well, not one specific. They were each different ones, but collecting them at the end. All right. Now I have to go. Now I got to watch it.
I could go on about this, but I just don't want to spoil any plot points.
Yeah, fair enough. We've been watching a fair amount of the Olympics as well. I've had my fill of curling, which don't get me wrong, I love it. When I was a kid growing up, when Saturday morning cartoons was over, we either got bowling for dollars out of Corning or we got curling out of Canada. And I used to watch curling all the time. My wife actually got me a membership to the Ardsley Curling Club.
There's a curling club.
They are. If you go in Canada, they're like bowling alleys up there. They're all over the place.
So, what do they call the curler? The thing that you actually
the pitch? The stone.
The stone. Is that what it is? The stone?
Yeah, the rock is referred to as the stone. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, we watched Germany in the U.S. last night, man.
Would that work on a bowling alley? Could you like bowl that down the alley?
No, unless
even
if
you had a little broom.
No, because it's riding on ice. It's riding on ice. That's the whole point of the broom, is to actually warm up the ice to curl it, to actually make it bend. Just like in Wanted, you get Angelina Jolie bending bullets. You just bend the stone.
Yeah. So next time,
What are
Oh
we
yeah,
doing?
we're going right back to scary stuff.
Scary stuff. You would think it's October, but it's not.
An odd time to drop this movie, is
It
it or no?
it is. It really is. Unless they're, they just don't want any competition whatsoever, which would be smart.
Which is fine. Yeah.
Yeah. Scream 7. We're already at the 7th entry into this series.
I feel like there should be a lot more, actually.
Yeah, now that you say that, it seems like this has been around longer than 7
And
movies.
this had some controversy going into it, right? Because
Casting wise, yeah.
yeah,
Yep. A couple characters are out, and Sydney is back.
yeah, interesting.
That's about all I know. I don't really know what the plot is going to be other than Ghostface kills people.
Is Dewey coming back as a zombie?
The only one that hasn't been killed other than Sydney would be Courtney Cox, right? So that's the only character left to bring
Gail,
back.
right?
Gail, yeah.
See, the problem is that I am not entrenched in this lore like you are, so I'm going to be hard pressed to match anything knowledge wise. I'll watch it, and you can tell me why I don't like it.
But along with Scream 7, I was just thinking of other franchises that have gone this long that are
Yeah, I was
horror
going to say, how many
franchises.
movies have 7 after their title? The Seventh Voyage of Sinbad.
The Seventh Voyage of Sinbad. Leonard Part 7? Or is that Leonard Part 6?
6. They never made a 7. That one's from behind the bars.
But we've done plenty of Halloween movies already, but we've never done a Friday the 13th movie.
We have never covered a single Friday the 13th movie.
We have not.
And we're on Friday the 13th. I think we have another one coming next month too.
Oh, we have? We got two in a row?
I believe that is the case.
Oh.
Yeah.
But this one that we're doing is, of course, part 7, which is subtitled The New Blood. And this is basically,
oh my,
this is Jason versus Carrie. So Jason has to deal with, as always, it's a Crystal Lake camp counselors, but just one girl happens to have telekinesis. So this ends in a telekinetic battle between this girl and Jason.
Sissy Spacek though.
It's not, no, it's not Carrie, but it might as well be Carrie.
Okay. Do I need to watch 1 through 6?
No, you do not.
Okay. Guy in hockey mask killing people.
Exactly.
Got it.
Yep.
Okay. So we got a whole mask theme going on. 7
yes,
masks.
We do. Yes, we do.
All right. Well, that should be interesting.
Yeah, it will.
Okay.
As always, thank you for listening.
Yes, thank you very much.
Yes.
Go check these movies out. I think both these movies are on Tubi or at least rentable on Prime.
Prime, yeah, you can't get them for free, but you can get them for $3.99.
Or you can just go buy the Blu-ray like I did.
Yeah.
Or your library. We don't talk about this enough, supporting our local libraries. Get out there. All right. Until next time.
Thank you.
Yep. Bye.
If you like what you just heard, be sure to follow TMI Confessionals of the Nerd Kind on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Spotify, or whatever you listen to your podcasts on. Also, be sure to email us at tmipodcast2018@gmail.com.
You can also follow us on all of our socials. We're on Instagram, X, Facebook, Threads. Just go to tmiconfessionalspodcast.com. All of our links are there. And leave us a 5-star review. See you at the concession stand. They say it's chicken pox, but we ain't got no chickens here.